expanding capacity for political participation.
Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we put our trust in our God. They are broken and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, the Southwest region. Oyo State. Good morning, Ibadan City. Good morning. Welcome to Bottom Line, another fresh edition of the program. Bottom Line is a political program that is poised to expand your capacity for political participation. The program is designed to get you well informed so that you can make informed decisions and right choices, as it were. I am your regular host on the program, Anu Oluwapo Homoride. 2023 is around the corner. Preparations have started, but some are still caught in the debate as to whether the election will hold or not. But hey, it seems the election will hold. There are different suggestions being put on the table ahead of 2023, but the electoral umpire and the political class, they are not sleeping, they are preparing. On the first segment of the program today, we will be looking at the PDP and its chances. And on the second segment, we will be looking at the Project Nigeria ahead of the 2023 general elections. In the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State, everyone is looking forward to primaries. But in some cases, consensus arrangement have been made. This has made some party faithful to become disgruntled, and some of them are complaining about the style that has been adopted. You have the PDP losing some of its chieftains to the opposition party. The camp of the governor believes that there is no cause for alarm. Politics is actually a game of wits. Of a truth, as a political correspondent, I will tell you that you lose some and you gain some. But what you are losing is also very important, for there is direct correlation between what you are losing and what you are getting. It's either here nor there. That is what the supporters of the governor will say, and those who are truly loyal to the PDP. Is there fire on the mountain? The camp of the governor believes no, there is none. The governor surrounds himself with some experienced politicians, but those who are losing out, and perhaps those who have lost out, are blaming these ones for not giving the right advice to the governor. But the governor's camp will maintain its cool and say there is nothing wrong. In some places where a consensus arrangement cannot be reached or have not been reached, they are warming up for primaries. We will be looking at one of those areas. I'm being joined by a two-term former member of the Oyo State House of Assembly. Is going to go to the House of Representatives. He tried his luck in 2019, but of course it didn't work. And so this time around, he wants to give it a trial. Honorable Shegun Olaleye, popularly known as Radical Brother, joins me on the program. He's a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party.
And to our listeners at home, good morning to everybody.
You're welcome to the program. Let me start this way. And your reply to this question will tell the world where you belong. Do you think that with the decampment of notable figures, notable politicians from your party, the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State, ahead of the election, there is no cause for alarm?
Yeah, personally speaking, I'm a practical politician, and I don't give myself to false illusions. I believe strongly +1 in politics is better than -1. And I want to say that losing some of these people, what it portends is that we still need to work harder. We don't need to give up on continuous process of reconciliation, continuous process of political evangelization. We must evangelize more people to our fruits. We must go after some of the people that have gone.
You must go after them.
Yes, to bring them back
They
to the
left
fold. Some of them can still be brought back, because where they go to, there's bound to be some issues too. There's no perfect system anywhere in any political party. There's no political party, political base that is perfect. They're still going to see encounter some, difficulties and problems.
But this one should tell you.
Said, you must continue, do you understand, to canvass them. You must continue to re-evangelize it. Just like in the case of Jesus Christ. So when you have 100 sheep and you lose one, you kill the 99 and go after the one. So I'm an optimist. We don't have to give up on them. Let's continue to push further. Let's continue to let them see the reason why they need to come back home to their house. We should not put up this attitude of I don't care. Nothing can happen. So that is what me, as Olusegun Olani, we always advocate for.
For 3 years, the PDP could not do that.
And I believe, even if it's for 3 years, you're saying 48 hours is a long time in politics. Do you ever believe the scenario that happened, the last political dispensation will happen, where different diverse parties are operating at their own frequency, and all of a sudden we came up with a coalition?
You think it cannot happen
you
again?
understand what I'm trying to say? You see, there's bound to be a lot of intricacies, a lot of things will come up. So you don't give up. You don't stop talking. You don't stop lobbying. You don't stop romancing these people. Some people can tell the governor or tell some of the big political shows, oh, don't give a damn, leave them, let them be. You understand? We must continually engage. Okay, if anybody tell you was it imagination that as of today we will have Chief Tegbe in our midst as a candidate flying a senatorial bid in Oyo State, you will say it's a tall dream. But because there was a certain problem he saw in the All Progressive Congress Party, APC, especially when it comes to the party formation, the executive and everything, and he felt that, look, this is not democratic enough, or this is not inclusive enough. Let me use the word inclusive enough. And he took a stand. That's why I said, you see, if you see that the flow have been in and out, as you see some people moving out of a party to APC, you see some people moving from APC into a party, that inflow will still be like that because there are two major political parties in Nigeria as of today, APC, PDP. Any serious politician who is out there to make a point, to achieve his aims and aspirations, will be thinking within the confine of these two major parties. Except you just want to make a statement with a third party and maybe probably be thinking of coalition later or whatever. You can go into a third party like SDP, NNPP and all this we are seeing today.
Okay. Let's look at this. According to you, it is not too late to woo those that left back. So what message do you think you want to preach to the likes of Senator Kola Balogun? What message do you want to preach to the likes of Mulikat Akande Adeola? These ones have left. There are those who even resigned from the government and they headed straight to the opposition.
Why I said where they are, is it that it's a perfect domain for them?
But they will tell you, let's even experience it first.
They will say that, but I'm telling you, if there's a new opportunity for engagement, for re-engagement, reconciliation, back up with a lot of what I call a lot of goodwill this time around, or strong will. Let me tell you, 48 hours is a long time in politics. Not to talk of when we are now. Because in any conflict, you say, I did my master's in peace building development in University of Badon. There's always a core. For every conflict, there's a core problem. So all you need to do is to identify what is the core problem. Is the core problem that of patronage? Is the core problem that of access to the governor? Is the core problem that of failure to fulfill some certain obligation or promises? Or is the core problem that of expectations that have not been met? So we look at the core problem and be able to dissect it and be able to place it on the table.
What to you?
And be able to address it.
What to you, Honorable Radika, is the problem in your party? There are some of those who left have accused the governor of high-handedness. But those who are close to the governor would say, no, that is not his person. What to you? Having established the fact that it's to the disadvantage of the party losing, heavyweight political to any political party.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not adding up for your party. What have you identified as the major cause of this exodus?
We say the exodus in question is relative. Because I use the word relative because it's becoming an in and out thing. Some are coming in, some are going out. As it is today, in some few months to come, not even, maybe 1 or 2 months to come, you will see another form or set of people coming from APC into our party too.
Honorable Radika,
and
are you being factual here?
Yeah, I'm being
I'm coming. When you look at the reason for which people are leaving your party,
yes,
and you look at the reason why they are coming to your party,
yeah,
I think you just want to look inward. As a matter of fact, it's been rumored that the ones that are coming to your party, you are mounting pressure on them, real pressure, just as it was rumored during the course of the week that the PDP needed Senator Fatai Buhari by all means, and he was reached out to, only for him to turn the People's Democratic Party and even the governor Dan. That can only show desperation. That's a pointer to perhaps how desperate your party is at this time.
Why are you using the word desperation here? Don't use the word desperation. Use the word strategy. Every governor, every political party has its own strategy. During the time of late Governor Abiola Ajumobi, we had 2 sitting senators left the party. That is more than an exodus. You can even say this is exodus combined with hurricane. But the fact is, what happened? He survived. He won the election. He broke the chains because he did not give up. The active players in the party did not give up. The state house of assembly where we belong to, we work hand in hand with him. You understand? We generate a movement. We generate that goodwill, especially from the legislative arm of government, strong one. We were everywhere, imparting life, engaging the people. The campaign was more of like a very serious evangelism that time.
Do you have all of those, all those factors you've listed? Do
And
you have them counting?
That's where I'm going now. That it is now incumbent on all our people that are inside to see it as a serious job. And let us borrow from that template of what happened during Governor Ibr92.5FM and say, look, this is, a very serious assignment for us to make sure we have the governor win the election back to back, maintain what late Governor Ibr92.5FM has done, by making sure 2 terms still exist in your state, and probably go ahead to produce his own successor. It's going to be an cooling job, but I don't want us to just think when you interview some people, they say there's no problem, no, nothing. No, I don't think that way. I think practically, I think objectively, I think seriously. I don't get driven by sycophantic analysis of views. We have a serious job to do. Even as to the legislature, during Governor Ibr92.5FM's time, there was a negotiation from the parliament by the speaker and some of our members that he should give us automatic tickets. And they were looking at the possibility of 25 people being given automatic tickets. But at this stage, I went to Governor Ibr92.5FM. I said, okay, if you are a serious legislator, serious member of the parliament, and you know your honors, you hold your ground, why are you demanding for automatic tickets? And if you ask some of members then that, are you sure you are doing the needful? They will say yes. So if you are doing the needful, why are you afraid of primaries? As an incumbent, you already have 65% advantage above the others that are competing with you, 60% advantage. That's how God leave everybody. And there was a serious problem between late Sugar and Murphy in Akinele, where I have been telling the governor, God, allow everybody, like a primary. That's the best way. Governor John said, no, Radical, I want to fix this thing. Look at the way Asiwaju used to do it in Lagos. I say Asiwaju is a process that has evolved over a long time. Yours is different. You understand? You are just going in to say you want to break the genes. Asiwaju, look at it, the beginning of this inception, democratic inception, Lagos have been stabilized under his leadership, under his party. So you don't have that strength. You cannot be that Asiwaju, sir. He said, you're going to do things. I say, yes. Don't think, hey, I can fix it. We can fix it. We use the party machinery, the good of government, everything. I say, okay, it won't work. Then you won't break the genes. We were still struggling with that until the day Murphy and Late Sugar had problem. There was a clash. People, the supporters were attacking themselves, with arms and ammunition and everything. When I said, okay, you have seen what? Now, okay, where do you want? Which direction do you want to go? Murphy have been your boy since MPP days and everything. He said, check me, yeah, you're right. I said, okay, Sugar, is somebody you love also. You know what it took us to bring into our party from Accord and all the rest. And he has been very active too and everything. Where do you want to teach? Which direction do you want to support? If you want to fix it like that, try to. He just shook his head, everybody will go for primaries. I was by his side because we interact a lot. We strategize a lot together. Before my follow with him, he's somebody that we use, he's a deep thinker. Give it to him. So I was going towards the gate saying, forget it, everybody is going for primaries. I have no prepared candidate. Everybody is going to face primaries. And that was what broke the genes for us. Myself saying it, I was not being selfish about it because I was ready to go for primaries. So everybody was subjected to that.
Because all odds favored you at that time.
No, it's not about all odds. It's because if the government was to pick that time, I have not had any problem with Governor Ibr92.5FM that time. I was among his best choice. You understand? You get it? So I would have, before you count 1, 2 in that parliament, that's why you won't count the Shagolale, let him that boast in the Lord. My boasting is of the Lord, not in my own ability.
Okay, so
now that works under these dispensations. Different scenario. What I'm trying to say now, You have a set of House of Assembly member. When you ask them the question, many of them will say, oh, we outperform 8th assembly, we outperform this, we have number of this, we have number of that. Do you understand? Now the question that I put to them, if you know you have outperformed the other this thing, the other that and everything, they should have allowed them to go for primaries at the level of the House of Assembly, all the members. It will create competition. It will generate enough goodwill. There will be more activity within the party.
So is anyone preventing some
you see, the
interested
parliament
parties
will always push for automatic. The way the speaker under the dispensation have pushed, that's the normal side of the parliament.
Oh, the
Even
speaker has pushed for automatic ticket.
During our time, they push it. I was one that bust it. Organ allow, because the parliamentarian will always go and disturb every speaker. It's happening in Abuja now. You see APC saying that they are not giving automatic ticket to their incumbent this thing. If I'm an incumbent House of Rep, why should I be running after automatic tickets? Incumbent House of Rep, incumbent senator, you already have an edge. You have the power of incumbency to make sure you showcase to people what you can do. So why is it? Let me tell you, and all these things which you borrow a leaf from what happened abroad. Have you ever seen the Republican Party or the Democratic Party asking for automatic ticket for their senators? Don't they go through the primaries? Have you forgotten?
Okay, so
even in abroad, that we are trying to build the model of the American democracy, they go through the party primaries and they always win. You understand? Because they go, okay, look at Honorable Luoloke in Obokunri at the federal constituency. Until the day is tired. You understand? And people always face him in the primary. That's why the fact that he has performed and everything. In fact, there will be some primary, some will say, don't let us bother, we'll just waste our money because we know people will vote too. Because he is doing the needful. So my question is, if you know as a parliamentarian, as a legislator, whether rep or House of Assembly or senator, you are doing the best, why running after automatic ticket?
okay, you see, the issue is this. For instance,
don't like it.
You are eyeing a particular position in 2023, and if I'm not making mistakes, I think you are about 12 or 15 thereabout gunning for the ticket of your party in Ibadan North Federal Constituency. When you look at it, are you saying that that number should be allowed to go to the feed
At this moment,
at this time?
you say there's nothing wrong.
Because this is one of the things some persons are blaming the governor for.
The beauty of democracy. Let me tell you, in the issue of Ibadan, the governor has done the best. You see, let me tell you the analysis of the governor. The governor was like, okay, let the leaders come. The governor was just trying to avoid a situation whereby people waste money, avoid all the rancor, avoid all the problems. You understand?
Some said
and the resources.
he has preferred candidates.
Said, let all the leaders come together from each constituency. Do you have a consensus of who you have agreed on? In any situation, anybody 100%, the leader say, oh, we have a preferred choice. This person should return to the house, or this person is good. The governor say, okay, I agree. The consensus stays. It's not the governor that does it personally. Let's give it to him.
He's not the governor.
He's not him.
But some
Now,
some are going about with his name.
I'm coming. Now, even if you have 10 leaders there, or 6, in that same meeting, or 9, and one, there's a discordant tune from one person that say no, do you know the governor will say, then go for primaries there. But the question we should ask ourselves, those leaders that are agreeing and work consensus, how do they arrive at it? The governor might not be aware of this one I'm saying now, but if he's listening on here, I want him to know this. Those leaders that start or that come to that meeting that say, okay, we have this consensus, how are we sure some of this consensus agreement is not induced in quotes? Do you understand? Somewhere from some of the aspirants, there are more logistics to put into the, you understand, into the game. Is it not induced? Are we sure there should be some leaders who are expected to be in that same meeting are not being, you understand, marginalized or left out. Maybe there are one or two leaders supposed to be in such meeting, and the process was stage-managed by some people, which the governor will not be aware of. When some leaders know that, hey, this one can come to this meeting and say, no, let's go for primaries, they can stage-manage him out. These are some of them, these are some of the contradictions of that process, which the governor is not even aware. Because we are on the field practically, we are on that play. We see some of the aspirants say to us, we are Baba one B, Baba John for the as in some of their leaders. You understand? But I believe there's no perfection in every system. The governor, after some responses, diverse responses and complaints, he still call another meeting. You understand? Saying that any constituency I see have people saying no, we don't agree and everything. You understand? The governor is revisiting it. And he's even allowing a situation whereby some of these constituencies are even going to primaries.
But how sincere is the governor to this particular process and move? When before all of this started, he went to Abuja and purchased some forms. Automatically, the impression is that perhaps the governor has some preferred candidates for each of these positions, as it were. So if the governor is now calling people, asking them to go and reach a consensus, isn't that ironical? Isn't it contradictory? Okay, so you are in Abuja, you got all the forms. Automatically, one would have thought that there are preferred candidates, isn't it? So if the governor is now calling on leaders at local government level, at federal constituency, senatorial district, asking them to go and work out a consensus arrangement, some persons will ask how committed or how sincere is the governor to the process. For instance, in your own constituency, rumor mills has it that there are anointed candidates. Of course, that is expected. But how would this kind of sentiment, those who hold on to this kind of sentiment, how would they be proven wrong if at the end of the day the person that has been rumored to be the anointed candidate emerges? So these are the issues.
The rumor of anointed candidate in my own federal constituency as to the election, at the level of rumor, you use the word rumor, underline, fine. When we had a discussion with the governor, and it's for the position of Ibadan North, leaders, stakeholders, and aspirants, everybody was for primaries. That's why I said I don't believe the governor has any agenda to impose anybody.
Everybody was for primaries.
Yes, 90%, 98%. Not everybody. 98% of us were for the primaries among the aspirants. Some aspirants are for whatever direction the governor wants to go. If the governor wants to go by consensus, we're for it. If you understand, some were open. But let's say 99% of us were for primaries. Data to the stakeholders and our leaders. You understand? They were all for primaries. So it's a different case scenario. But not from a different case scenario. And that was why on the blanket, the governor was like, hey, in Australia we have 13 aspirants going for Federal House of Rep and 18 from both two constituencies, 99, going for State Assembly. That's the beauty of democracy. And the governor was like, look, that's what you want, but or not, you go for what you want. That's the democratic voice of the people. And he said, I'm going to provide level playing ground for all of you. And free and fair election, no matter what, and security will be there to give you protection. You see, we are taking the governor by his words.
Let me ask you.
And the issue of, look, let me get it. The issue of fifth columnists, some strange legs and hands, trying to get themselves involved in Ibadan North, saying we have a candidate and they are pinpointing, it's not going to work. Because we know it's all lies from the pit of hell that they are representing an agenda or for the interest of the governor. And that we have been educating all our delegates, ESCOs and delegates. Don't hear anybody telling you, Governor Sokwe and Sokwe, no, it's a lie. And on that day, We won't allow anybody who is not from our local government to come near our, the voting place. If you are not from Ibadan North local government, you are not strategically involved. You understand? We will not allow you to be within the vicinity of the electoral process.
In an event that the governor has an anointed candidate of a truth, that would be so difficult to beat.
If a governor have an anointed candidate,
if he has
we have no reason to believe otherwise.
Because the governor spoke to you.
Because he has spoken. He has given his word. If let me tell you, if you know who Olusegun is, I take people at their words. And I have not seen any reason to doubt the governor. But I'm aware there are some black sheep in different places who are trying to play games, use the name of the government, use the name of people around, even use the name of some people that are even close to the governor. We know in this instance certain people are very close to the governor. Some black sheep who maybe they don't have second identity of job to do. You understand? I don't know their desperation. They are trying to use the name of governor, use the name of people that are very close to the governor, and say, hey, this is the direction. It's not going to work. Basa is contesting, Olusegun is contesting, Toyin Balogun is contesting. For the first time, you have, sound, intellectual ladies being involved. A lot of good aspirants too. Honorable Woleye, Larry Sarumi, many solid people on the field. Biro, you understand? A lot of good hands contesting this election in our constituency. We have Omar, you have them, and everybody is going out to campaign. We've even gone on here to do some what I call a mini debate. The youth has called us to come and tell us about their program. Ibadan has taken the narrative to another level. We're going to write to you. We're going to have our own meeting as aspirant before that day. We want you media to come and observe it. We're going to call on the NGO to come and observe it. We're going to tell people that come around there to put on their social media gadgets to record everything. So I want to see how someone will say is going to bring some thugs to come and disrupt or overrun anybody. Is that going to work? It's not. We are bold people. I'm a product of the student movement. See, there's nothing. You don't shoot a gun and a radical that will run away. It's not going to work.
You are upbeat. But let's talk about the work of a legislature. You see, it's important we get ourselves engaged in this kind of conversation at this time, because Nigerians have been complaining that many a times those who go to Abuja to represent them don't even understand what job they are to do. I'm going to start with this jumbo pay. Okay, as many of the House of Reps or senatorial hopeful that I am opportune to have interaction with, I ask this. Nigerians believe that their lawmakers at the federal level, they earn too much. Do you agree?
You see, I'm in between.
In between.
And I'll tell you.
But you can't afford to sit on the fence.
I'm in between. I'm being practical. There's so much poverty in the land. My people have their needs. My people have their wants. And we have a system in the country. We rely so much on the executive arm of government to do the needful, and it's not being done. I'm a legislator representing my people. The stopgap of palliative, most legislators use that money for genuine legislation, not the one that will accumulate this money and be building houses in Abuja, in Lagos, in Zamfara, in everywhere.
Are there genuine? Are there genuine ones?
Yeah.
You see genuinity as at the time they won the vote of the people.
I even count myself as one of the few genuine ones.
Expectedly.
Yes,
you want to blow your trumpet.
No, I will. If nobody pray for that, I will. And I'll tell you why. Because that's why I told my people during my declaration. I said, look, I'm coming back. First, one of the things I used to do is that the money they even give us, I will let you know how much I earned as impress. I did it in the House of Assembly.
How much?
It caused confusion.
How much you
It
earned?
caused pressure on me because they were like, radical, but what you go here and say we are any dick. Then giving a running cost of 1.6 million, salary of 427,000.
Oh,
I said it there.
The
House of Assembly
per month.
Yeah.
Per month.
I said it during the government.
Has it changed?
No, you can ask me. It has changed.
1.6 as running cost.
It has changed. So you can ask them. They will give you the actual figure.
Close to 500,000 as salary.
It has changed, as in more now. So you can ask them.
So it has improved.
Yes, Governor Makinde has improved it. So don't let us lie to the people. If I'm out of this station, can somebody calling me now and say, Radical, why should you say that thing has changed? Why should I lie to the people?
You know it has changed.
Yes.
So the people,
No.
I'm coming. This is very important.
Yeah.
You, when you were there,
Yes.
in the 8th assembly, in the 7th assembly, and in the 8th assembly,
yeah.
you earned 1.6
As running
million
cost.
as running cost
427,000 salary.
every month.
Yes.
And you are saying it has improved now.
Yes.
Now that is a part of your constituency project allowance and all that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Now,
So lawmakers at the state level have money too.
The constituency allowance that comes in once a year under the State House of Assembly. You see, where I'm going is this: why should we, as politicians, hide so much information from the public space? I don't need to hide it. If I'm voted in, I'm a federal legislator in Abuja today, they give me 10 million as running costs or 8 million. I'll come back, my people. They give us 10 million as running costs, 8 million as running costs, and my salary is 700 and something thousand. Now the issue is this: you cannot tell me my people don't need those money because there's so much needs. Those money are used at what I call stopgap palliatives.
Is it the money they need?
Yeah, wait, to help. Because you find that there are things you need to do. And you cannot come. I did my campaign. Some people have problem of fixing their transformer, of a billion transformer. And it's going to cost them like maybe 3 million to do. And they don't have. So I as a legislator, we have to wait, writing one memo or whatever, waiting for.
Isn't that vote buying?
What I will do is to use part of that running cost to make sure they put that light on it.
Okay.
People want to see results. I'm just being practical here.
But there are those who don't even spend this running cost on anything.
That's why I'm saying that everybody with his own vision and objective. I told my people in Ibadan North, the first time I'm dividing this money into 3. The first one I will take in that National Assembly. I'm going to divide it into 3 and I say one part in our meeting. You understand? This is for you. For Omegbe, the practical Omegbe. Are you getting me? This is for you because you see this. I said I use the word TRP, teamwork, reward, and performance. The performance angle have to be with the general thing you do for the public. Project to Alata Bujani, health center, you renovate this. There's this intervention, infrastructural intervention. There's many things you're able to influence from Abuja. The reward aspect of it are even the political people, do you understand, and some of the people in the public, you understand, who want 1 or 2 direct interventions in their life. You understand? You have to do it because we are the system is so backward where we find ourselves as a country is not where we're supposed to be. If you don't do that, let's be practical. And the teamwork aspect of it is that you have the party. You already work with the party instead of teamwork. Why would I strengthen the party? Both at the local government, both at the world level, both at the local government and the state level. I laugh when I see some certain people run to the party at the state level now to do 1 or 2 things. I say, look, when it happened in APC, the party at the state level, even when the governor was against me and they set up panel to get me out of the party, they said, look, this guy is a solid material, we can't let him out. Because he only supports severally. I survived a lot of panel. You should do your investigation and know. Now, the party in I want to ask a question. Have we seen any legislator under this dispensation look at the party secretary in PDP in the state and say, okay, this month, let me ask the party with 7 million. My running call for this month, I can do it.
Okay.
And because those are the kind of thing I believe. I can just go to the party, pay look to support your interest, let's renovate this, let's equip this. Peace. I
asked a question.
Both at the state, local, and every level.
A question led us to this.
Inshallah.
There is much poverty in the land.
Yeah.
What 100 people should make do with, one person is cornering it. It ain't in one person's pocket in form of allowance, emolument, and all that. Nigerians are complaining, and as such, they want what their lawmakers at the federal level, even at the state level, perhaps some persons have never heard it, that even at the state level, okay, 1.6 million for 8th assembly, 9th assembly,
yeah.
You've confirmed it has improved, yes. Okay.
Nothing to hide.
There is nothing to hide. Perhaps some persons never knew that even the representatives at the grassroots, I mean in House of Assembly, ain't that much. Okay, Nigerians will want these things slashed to the extent that they want these politicians to be paid just like civil servants. Then it's going to be about service. That is their impression.
I'm telling you, let's look at the practicality of what you are saying. Why do we that most of the time legislator? Do you look at the direction of the executive? Who have their security vote that nobody can question? Executive as ministers, executive as president, executive as governor, executive as commissioners, who has contract to give out, and they have things, for them from this contract. Let's be factual. They have support of contractors. They can do their hands like this. Contractors are their, beck and call to support them financially. Legislators don't have that opportunity. The only thing left for the legislators at any point in time had to do with these allowances you are talking about. That is the only lifeline they can use to impact on their people. The question is, what I believe the narrative should be, rather than saying, I want to slide you, one of the is that, look, they should put it to good use to assist the people. You see, those are even temporary things for me. Those are surface scratching for me. As a legislator that is going to Abuja, the major motion I have in mind, my major legislative agenda for that first year in that parliament, which I will bid upon, is a look, we need to restore the energy sector.
Restore the energy sector.
Yes, we need to restore it back. We must have constant light. If you have, listen, Anu, this is I'm very passionate about this. It's the main thrust of one of my major thrusts of going to that parliament. This issue of energy sector. Sometime back in Nigeria, if anybody tell you today we'll be holding this GSM line and be calling a tree like this, you will say no. And then they were doing it abroad, but yet we find ourselves doing not, looking for that or that cellular around. It become very difficult calling. You remember then, when President Olusegun Obasanjo got using for this GSM revolution, we all thought that, hey, how did it happen today? Don't think the light issue is a big utopia we cannot achieve. It's achievable. And the best way to achieve it, because if the energy angle we have light, the factor of production will go down. When the factor of production go down, you don't have to be buying diesel to run all the generator for all this generated electricity. Then many companies will spring up. Some that have been raptured to neighboring countries will find it convenient to come back. That we have a spiral effect, economic spiral effect for job opportunities for a lot of unemployed graduates and unemployed technical people and artisans. I am telling you, all this issue of Yahoo you are seeing today, all this issue of all our girls are becoming prostitutes, they are becoming runs ladies, a lot of things will reduce. I am telling you, once you remove this issue of electricity problem, it will solve a lot of problems in this country. And when that is done, it's going to help us. If that is one thing the radical brother we have, because when I get to that parliament, he said that whosoever is the minister of energy become my best of friend or my best of enemy, depending on his vision.
I wish you success. Now, globally, there is no perfect system But in the true spirit of reconciliation, many can still be brought back to the PDP fold in Oyo State, because the APC, which appears to them as a refuge, is not democratically constituted and on the brink of collapse. Its ship will soon sink. Hayodele from Alakia sent the message. PDP or APC is not the problem. Politicians in these political parties are the major reason Nigerians are suffering. How do you expect a party handling its affairs without fairness and equity to deliver same in governance? Same thing Mr. Olale and others accused ex-governor Jimobi of is what GSM is doing now, and now it calls it strategy. All what is happening in the party is because politics is monetized. It is so unfortunate that the masses are the victims in it all. Taiwo Dare sent that message. Morning, Mr. Anuluakpo, God bless you. The only problem I'm having with PDP is that they don't have a good outspoken that can confuse the people that they are serious politically. The fact is that your guests there don't even say what people wanted to hear about their progress. It's just giving excuses. Help me ask your guest, what is the governor doing to curb the PMS thuggery attitude before 2023? Or we people should believe a PMS thuggery attitude before 2023, or we people should believe governor immunity cover them too. Hawokunle sent the message. Okay, you want to be part of the program? Let's pick some calls. Let me pick some calls on the program. The numbers to call to be part of the program is 0916 104 7698 0811 052 6487 0902 280 9257. All right, let's start with this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much.
This is Anthony on the line.
Anthony, welcome.
You know, that your guest is a typical politician, very smart guy. You asked me a question. You said the masses are suffering at the detriment of this merchandising democracy these politicians are practicing. He now try to dodge it by saying if he gets to the House of Rep, he'll be talking about electricity. That electricity will stop Yahoo Yahoo. Yahoo Yahoo is not electricity they use to operate their computer and the phone they use. You can see that answer is not relevant. He talk about prostitution. Yes, prostitution, apart from tendency to prostitute, to go into prostitution. Yes, it is the hard work of you politicians. He's talking about the jumbo salary you people are collecting an allowance at the detriment of the development of the country and its people. Instead of you to say, okay, if we get there, let's look at the structure, let's look at the way we are operating this democracy. Look, why should you make politics so lucrative? Is that what happened in other parts of the world? Politics supposed to be less attractive. It's for those who want a good name, a good legacy. Are those going there to build the country and the people? But in Nigeria, politics is merchandising. It is the politicians that are richer at the detriment of the innocent citizens. So what are you talking about? You people are not practicing politics here. You are trading us. You are trading the people's future.
Okay.
My brother, let
All
me
right.
get you up correctly. What I'm trying to tell you
All
about
right.
the fact that the issue of Yahoo is a relative
Honorable Radical.
unemployment problem.
Hold on.
If the energy sector, electricity is restored, it will bring the employment.
Honorable Radical.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, Honorable Radical.
You need to get his perspective.
We are merchants. The only thing you people come here to think we are all fools.
All right.
We are not fools.
Okay,
We are
Mr.
not fools. All of us are not fools.
Okay, Mr. Anthony.
I have my PVC. I will never vote.
All right.
With this kind of system and these people,
Okay.
I will never waste my time.
All right, Mr. Anthony, thank you so much for your time.
So what I'm trying to say, Mr. Anthony, is that I'm not saying whether they use electricity for Yahoo Yahoo. What I'm saying is that when electricity is restored, constant electricity in the country, we will have many manufacturing countries coming back, Tesla company and everything. There will be more job opportunities. People will not be idle again. Employment opportunities will be there. There will be job opportunities.
He feels you.
Now all this thing will reduce all the side effects that allow people. It's because I now do one. The devil find job for an idle one. It's because most of the young people, they are enterprising people, they want to work. When they don't get the job, that's why they go into this yahoo prostitution and everything.
His grandson is the
it
fact.
Is the effect. So my brother, you need to understand that.
Radical is
and on the salary you continue to say.
Exactly.
I continue to put it to you. Let's be practical here. Let's be practical. I want to tell you that
you will be back to answer. You will. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a good luck calling from Iwo Road.
Good luck from Iwo Road. Welcome.
And I like it very much. And I like the guest, the Radical. But I want the man that just Anthony. Anytime he wants, he will always talk in action. But I'm praying we join the race and become the senatorial to contest all the race. So that things as radio. How the pastor, Bakari, went and they pray to secure for presidential election. He could not reject. That is a corruption. Now we paid. I want to know this Anthony who speaks do the same thing. Will know that.
Okay.
God bless you.
Okay, thank you so much. Good luck from Iwo Road. In case you want to be part of the program, the numbers to call are 0916 104 7698, 0811 052 6487, 0902 280 9257. These are the numbers to call. You can send a text message to 0905 221 3356. Honorable Radical, Anthony feels you did not address the issue. A cross section of Nigerians are saying what the lawmaker, what Nigerian politicians, what they take.
That does not mean that I will agree. You see, because I don't agree does not make me a bad politician or a bad product. But what I'm telling you that within the system now, that is the only stopgap an average legislator can use to help his people. Now, if you now remove that from them, you understand? Some of this money too,
let's pick some
people
calls.
will still get it into a lot of corrupt activities.
Hello, good morning.
So, what were you saying?
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kende from Alakia area, sir.
Kende from Alakia, you're welcome.
Yes. I just want to say they are all the same. They will not be driven in this Nigeria. They are just telling lies and telling us. It is not that we should know what we are doing in this Nigeria. I'm telling all you that they should not believe all these leaders. They are just telling lies. They will not do a good job in this Nigeria because they are liars. That's what I want to say. Bye, sir.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you so much. Honorable Radical.
You have to come and be involved too. Let's get good men into the field. Good people.
To those.
There are a lot of liars there, but there are some people who stand for truth. So come and be involved too.
To those who have called in.
Throw a blanket. That anybody in public service, they are all liars. I disagree with you.
Good morning.
Come and be involved.
Good morning, IBR, Anu and Comrade Shegun. The guest is well experienced and tested. He's also independent minded. You can also not silence him. Good luck to him at Detunji Simeon. Okay, thank you so much. To those who tried calling in, and of course I couldn't pick your call, you may repeat the call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Noluwapo.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Comrade Radical.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Comrade Ismail Adedamola calling from Bashon.
Comrade Ismail from Bashon, welcome.
Sincerely speaking, I know Honorable Radical for the truth, but this morning it seems that he hides some facts under the tongue. Let me put you. This is what I learned from his conversation this morning. You ask him of how sincere that the governor voted from and be sharing it for the preferred candidate. I am not satisfied at all. Just like the other listener for his response. because everybody know what is going on. Whether you say the fact or you are not saying, we know what is going on. In fact, we even follow more than you politicians. So please and please, we know you as somebody that will always speak with the truth. Please, don't, because of your love for someone, and tarnish your hard-earning name. Thank you.
Okay, comrade.
Well, I appreciate your
thank
cancer, my brother. I appreciate your cancer. Let me leave it at that. Because he's saying that I'm not hitting at the governor, the way it should be and stuff like that. But
is he expecting you to eat at the governor?
Yeah, I just believe that, as I've said earlier, the process might not be perfect, and there's a need to improve on it. I disagree with some of the stuff. I've said it earlier in my thing that I would want, because I've answered your question. I said I would have loved everybody to go for primaries. That is enough for you to know that my view is different. But I'm trying to now analyze within the confine of where we find ourselves what I think the governor was trying to do and what are the contradictions inherent in what is happening that he is not aware of. And from that angle, I was calling for the fact that I always believe in primaries headlong. So if we have another opportunity, another dispensation, I want a situation everybody is allowed to have his primaries.
Okay.
So I was being factual, but you don't expect me to. Well, let me leave it at that.
Let me ask you this as we wrap up the program this morning. In my introductory speech, I talked about the fact that some Nigerians believe that 2023, there are some conversation we should get engaged in, okay, before we go into that election. What's your take on these? Some believe, election is not the most important thing at this time. Let's talk, let's sit down and talk. We've been having elections and all that. What's your take?
As far as I'm concerned, there's always a room for conversation. It's a continuous process. And beyond conversation, what have been the outcome of previous conversation? We have confab during President Obasanjo's time, during President Goodluck Jonathan's time. There was an opportunity for Nigeria to dialogue too, and that always take a lot of attention and time and resources, logistics and planning too. So that's why it's not practical or realistic. You miss that with the oncoming election. It's not practicable within that space.
It is not practical.
It's not practicable. But we can only still continue to discuss at our own different space level, and while the fifth man of the realm, the press, is able to much more escalate all this for people to know these views, and we cross-fertilize ideas, dissect it, and begin to say what we think can be done to help the system grow. I've said my own part today to say, my major legislative agenda is the electricity, the energy sector is a major thrust of my agenda in that parliament. I've been factual, I've been practical about it. So let's continue to talk. It's good. The conversation must continue.
I must say a big thank you to you. Thank you for coming on Bottom Line today. And we wish you well. May you succeed in your aspiration, Honorable Shegun Olale, Radical Brother. Thank you so much for your time on Bottom Line. Okay, at this juncture, I will take a breather. We will be back. When we come back, we will be going into discussion about the project Nigeria. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. It is Bottom Line here on Impact Business Radio, IBR 92.5 FM, Ibadan. On this segment, we will be looking at the undercurrents in Nigeria's political history and journey, as it were. Chief Afe Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria, looking at the myriad of challenges confronting Nigeria at this time, suggested that rather than having the 2023 general elections, we should take a pause, have an interim government. Let me remind you that the last time, it's actually not a new thing in Nigeria. Immediately after the June 12 election that was annulled, an interim government was formed, and that government was headed by late Chief Ernest Shonekan. Whether it achieved the purpose for which it was formed at that time or not is another ball game. But some persons will say it's prepared Nigeria for the political journey we started in year 1999. Rather than going straight into democratic dispensation after that interim government, late General Sani Abacha took over as the military head of state in this country. But Afe Babalola, a legal luminary, a senior advocate of Nigeria, believes that what Nigeria needs at this critical time is an interim government and not an election. Let's listen to Chief Afe Babalola. Now, he's so happy that he is not alone in this call. According to him, since he made the call, young Nigerians, stakeholders, critical ones have supported his suggestion. Let's listen to Chief Afe Babalola.
I'm happy that the House of Rep today in the newspapers said that they have failed Nigerians. I hope you also read that. That is good for us. It makes us to think and rethink. And my own answer is simple. If a person admits his failure, then you look at the solution to it. The solution to it is as soon as the present government completes its term of office, do not hold a new election. Rather, let us have an interim government.
Chief Afe Babalola there. Don't let us have an election, interim government.
1,000 people who had commented, 90% out of about 3,000 people who had commented, 90% support my views, particularly the young people, the unemployed people, the poor people, and those who are looking for work. They all supported me, and I'm happy about that.
Chief Afe Babalola there. That's one of the issues we're going to be looking at on the program. On the second segment, we will be looking at this zoning arrangement that seems to be tearing the polity apart at this time. Ndigbo are saying it is their turn. It's either an Igbo presidency or nothing. Ohaneze Ndigbo has warned all their sons and daughters not to play the second fiddle. Ohaneze Ndigbo has said no to a vice presidential slot. It's either the presidential seat or nothing. Leaders of the All Progressives Congress in the Southwest region met yesterday, and Chief Bisi Akande spoke to journalists after that particular meeting. And you want to hear what Chief Bisi Akande said after that meeting. All the governors elected on the platform of the APC were there. Former deputy governors in Oyo State were there. Chief Omishori was there yesterday. You have notable figures present at that particular meeting. Listen to Chief Bisi Akonde.
As the elders of the APC caucus in the Southwest, to let you know that we are having, a reason to let you know that we are united on purpose. And the purpose is to ensure that the presidency of Nigeria in 2023 will come to Southwest.
Okay, so who blinks first? A notable Yoruba man, Payo Adebanjo, is of the opinion that the presidency should be ceded to Ndigbo. According to him, it's not the turn of a Yoruba man. I'm being joined on the program by an elder statesman, a former ambassador of Nigeria to the Philippines. You call him a media consultant, you won't be wrong. A strategist, and of course, someone who has a grasp of the history of this nation, who knows what is going on. Chief Yemi Farumbi joins me on the program. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's good to have you, sir.
Always nice to be here with you.
Two things I want us to look at. Let's start with the call for an interim government by Chief Afe Babalola. What's your take on his call? According to him, over 3,000 people, that was some weeks back, have supported his call, meaning his call is gaining popularity. Your take, sir?
I am sure that if you were to do a referendum on what he had asked for, he will win.
He will win.
That is the truth. Not many people are happy with the status quo. Not many people are happy with the fact that we have not been able to give ourselves an autonomous constitution that reflects the genuine wishes and aspirations of Nigeria. Not many people are happy that the National Assembly have been indifferent or perhaps deaf and dumb to the genuine wishes of the people for a constitution that aggregates their hopes, that takes care of their fears, that wipes off their tears. They are not happy that even ordinary simple issues like state police, that most of Nigerians believe can assist in resolving the security malaise that we have in this country, that the National Assembly was not able to make a constitutional amendment on it. And so a lot of people believe that no emperor will dismantle his own empire. And that is the reason why we have been unable since 1999 to take action on a constitution that lied against itself.
Lied against itself.
Yeah, it said we, the people of Nigeria, gave unto ourselves this constitution. A constitution without a constitutional conference. A constitution without a constituent assembly. A constitution that was enacted as a decree that even the president, the very first president under President Obasanjo, never saw it until he had been sworn in. So a lot of people are thought that this constitution, we should look at it. And that if we don't look at it, we'll be unable to solve the problem of Nigeria. When Obasanjo got there, he set up a committee of all the political parties. And that was what the last guest was talking about, the intervention that had led to nothing. And there was a confab. I was a technical advisor to the Western delegates, so I have an idea of it. And in the brief that the government prepared then, that was presented all over Nigeria by Professor Jerry Gada, who was then a minister, it said that constitution lied against itself. There wasn't a constitution genuinely produced by we, the people.
The administration of former President Obasanjo identified that.
And let me confirm, unfortunately, all the effort got messed up by somebody who smuggled into the draft constitution a third-term provision. That was what ended it. There was a 2014 national conference under President Goodluck Jonathan. They had 600 resolutions. 400 of the resolutions were unanimous, without any voting.
400.
They are there unattended to, because no emperor wants to dismantle his empire. Because the main thrust of the struggle of the common man for a true federalism is that the relationship between the center and the federative units must be coordinated. It must not be a subordinate relationship, not between a headmaster and a class teacher. A lot of people in Nigeria are unhappy that the federal exclusive list contains 88 items as against 22 in 1963. They are unhappy that the federal government controls 53.5% of all the resources of Nigeria as against 20% that it used to control. And this struggle that we are having, life and death struggle for the position of the presidency.
You call it life and death?
The enormity. It's life and death. Enormity of the power, enormity of the resources, enormity of the grandeur of that office. Because functions that should be performed by the local government or by the state government and all be amassed in the center. So everybody is anxious to have his own man there. You know what the Yoruba say? If you put a madman with a hoe, he's going to hoe it to himself. So everybody knows the enormity of the power there, and they want to get at it. And we don't need that. What we need is a rearrangement, a proper federal rearrangement of the duties and the revenue. Then you find that the rush to be a president will not be there. The rush will be either to be the governor of the state or whatever is the federative unit. So, since no emperor will reduce his empire, that's why a lot of people think, why don't you rewrite a constitution that will be authentic, that will be reflective of the wishes and the desires and the aspirations of Nigeria?
Is this still possible in this country?
It is possible if we are ready.
Because we are having amendments.
Amendments cannot solve the problem we are saying. You need a whole rewriting. Let me give a ridiculous example. There will be many marriages going on now in Ibadan, in registry. When they finish the marriage, and the registrar wants to give you the certificate, you say in the name of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, receive your marriage certificate. For something as trivial as wedding is federal exclusive list. You cannot generate electricity, is federal exclusive list. Even for on a regional basis to have a light railway to take traffic off the road is federal legislative list. You even have a federal ministry of works and housing. If you are to go to UK and you want a government house, you look for a council flat. It is local government that takes care of such things, but it's federal government, Federal Housing Authority. Federal Mortgage Bank, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. Federal government owns primary schools. He owns secondary schools. What he's doing there? He has a Federal Ministry of Agric, but under the land use decree, the land belongs to the state. Federal Ministry of Water Resources. What are they doing with it? Because we've aggregated the responsibilities and duties that should be at the local government. The basics of government is that the power for functions should be nearest to the people. So you find that states, local government don't have enough funds. I said in 63 Constitution, federal government had 20%. Now they have 53%. Regions had 50%. Now they have 26%. So what are they supposed to do with it?
But let me quickly take you back a bit. I listened to Senator Zwingina, who tried to convince Nigerians not to believe the fact that the Constitution was actually written by the military. According to him, in his argument, he claimed that it was actually some men that were not in khaki that prepared that Constitution.
I laughed at him. You can also say the 1979 Constitution was written that way. But we had a Constituent Assembly. We had the 49 wise men led by Shivruti who did a draft. It was presented to an assemblage of people elected all over Nigeria in a Constituent Assembly. Even when they have done that, the military government under General Obasanjo amended specific parts. They told, before Muritala was assassinated, he was the one who inaugurated it, he said there were no go area that the assembly must not talk about. They imposed a presidential system on us, said it was a no-go area. They imposed an executive presidency. It was a no-go area. We even had a semblance of involvement of the people. But in 1999, they assembled a Nikitobi, Justice Nikitobi.
As it then was.
Yeah, and he had about 27 people. Who elected them? Who mandated them? Assuming they have even done a draft, was it ever presented to an assembly elected by the people? Most distinguished senator was thinking upside down.
Okay, that has been settled. Now let's assume that the suggestion of Afe Babalola is considered. How will it work? Because the argument, apologies sir, the argument has been that even these ones that will form the government, it's this incumbent government that will make nomination and all that. So there are those who believe, come on, let's look at the practicability and workability of these suggestions.
When you have a will, you get a way. Nigeria leadership, political elites are thinking like politicians. They are not thinking like statesmen. Politicians think of next election. Statesmen think of the future of the country. We had this circumstance in Benin Republic, and they put together a sovereign national conference, not only of politicians, of professional bodies, of businessmen, of religious people. It was led by a cardinal, and since then, Benin Republic has been at peace. After the apartheid in South Africa, they had a constitutional commission like this. They even have a transitional government. That was why it became easy for the blacks to take over, for Mandela to be, for de Klerk to step down as president, and for Mandela to take it over, and for de Klerk to be his deputy, for special provision to be for the white. When people are honest enough to about the future of the country, there is always a way. To think that it's only the politicians that can manage this is to be wrong. There are professional bodies who are not interested. So if you are going to have an interim, it will not be a politician only. It will consist professional bodies. You might ask the professional association, maybe their president or two nominees, religious bodies, and all of that. It can be worked out if we genuinely want this country to move forward. But they always forget that when you make a peaceful change difficult, then you push the people to the wall. There will have been no need asking for an interim. Absolutely none. If the National Assembly were responsible, if they were responsible and were responsive, we saw how much effort they put into the electoral bill, because that is what affects them. They spend hours, they spend resources, they got it done. Amendment to the Constitution. Have they gotten it done? So these politicians are thinking of themselves. They are not thinking of the nation. We can make governance easy. If they have done that, nobody will be thinking of an interim. But I think Baba just looked at it that these emperors don't want to reduce their power. So why don't you create an interim of 6 months between one emperor and another and rearrange all of this? And this battle of it is my turn, it is not my turn will not be necessary.
Okay, so let's come then to this issue of it is my turn, it is not your turn. The Southwest, the Southeast, it appears no one wants to blink first. You heard Chief Bisi Akonde, a friend of yours, saying that meeting yesterday resolved that come what may, the Southwest will produce the next president. He was upbeat about it. What's your take? Do you share the views of those who converged yesterday?
You know, a lot of people are unaware of what the background of all of this. Historically, a lot of people believe, particularly in 1983, that Shifaulo won the election. But it was manipulated out. So we ended having what Emeka Ojukwu calls the best president we never had. Then came 1993. We had a man who won the fairest and the freest election in this country, but who never became president. So Abacha now set up in 1995-1996 a constitutional conference that was supposed to be self-governing. They were to take decisions that would become automatic laws. And when they took decision, they said, what have been the problems of this country? One of it was equal access to power. They recall what had happened to Awolowo, what had happened to Abiola, and said, okay, to guarantee equal access to power, let's break this country to 6 zones. It was Abacha Constitutional Conference that did that. And if you look around, there's nowhere in law where you will find it, because the report of that Constitutional Conference, Abacha was scared by it and now set up a committee to review it. Fortunately or unfortunately for Nigeria, that committee had not completed its work by the time Abacha died. So they created 6 zones and also said there must be a rotation of power between the North and the South, between the South and the North. so that there can be equal access to power. They even went further and said that even in local government, even in states, even in territorial districts, you should seek to see if you can identify zones so that you will always rotate. Even in a local government, you will rotate the power. It's in that constitution, in their draft. That was how the concept of rotation came. For people to have equal access to power. You have it in your state, you have it in some states. That some people dominate governance because of population. And if you use that only, it will mean that some people forever and ever will never produce governor. They will never produce president. Which is what some northerners were saying. We have the population, at least as manufactured by us, and we can always be president of this country. But without give us a stable nation. So that's how the rotation came. Unfortunately, the mini rotation within the North or within the South had not been established. The principle for it. The principle that was established that take from the North to the South to the North. And when the political parties came in 1999, they all adopted this.
They adopted it. How come they are denying?
Go and read the constitution of the APC or PDP. It is there. Power must change, must alternate.
It's there.
Yeah. But of course, it's not in the constitution. But we are very irresponsible in this country because we don't know that sometimes unwritten laws can be more effective than written ones, which is why United Kingdom has no constitution. It has no written constitution. They are governed by conventions and so on. That was why when Obasanjo was going, he gave it to the North and expected that after the North, it would come to the South. The APC knew that. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why Buhari defeated Jonathan was that Nigerians thought that Jonathan was spending the northern time. Because it was Yar'Adua's time that he was spending. He has spent 2 years, he has spent 4 years. You want to spend another 4 to become 10. So the spirit of Nigeria didn't vote for him. So if anybody now says there will be no alternation, he's taking a serious risk.
So whose turn do you think it is?
I know it's the turn of the South. Now the South ought to sit. And because the Southwest believes that every time the Southwest had opportunity, the Southeast had contested with it.
That has been the case. Yep. Is that assertion, is it true? Is it real?
In 1999, I was a senior member of PDP. When Obasanjo got up to become the candidate, his main opponent was Alex Ekweme. It's an historical truth. So it's not like if they say, okay, you suffer, go and have it. They contested it bitterly. And that is why some people think, since there is no consensus opinion about rotation, he came to the South by accident. It wasn't that anybody wanted to give South. It was just that Yar'Adua died.
And Jonathan Nato took over.
So it was not on any agreement. So what I would have thought that my colleagues, my friends in the Southeast ought to have done in the last 4 years was to build bridges so that we can all sit together and say, okay, we have never voluntarily given you Southwest or voluntarily given you South-South. Now let us establish. So the reason why the Southwest says is that top. And the Southeast, fairness today, have never been. But don't remember that when they made it impossible for Awolowo to become president, he was the vice president. So historically, to intrusions like that, particularly for those who have affinity with Awolowo in one way, find it difficult to readily give up. But what Baba Adebanjo is saying, on the face of it, is the logic. But when you go to the North also, the Northeast is going to tell you they have never had it. The North Central is going to tell you that within a democratic setting, they've never had
Produced the president.
So that is micro-zoning that ought to
have
be
taken place
settled in the South and in the North. And unless they mutually agree, I don't think it will be easy. And when people say, unless you give it to us, we will go and have Republic of Biafra, it doesn't encourage people to support them. Because that is the fear of some people. That, if you give them power, they will dismantle Nigeria. Particularly those who don't want Nigeria dismantled. Those who fought the war. Those who carry bullets of the war in their body or in their bone. They don't want to see it dismantled. So when they begin to fear, I mean, and I know it happened in some other places before, but so what I know is concrete, it should come from the South. The South can sit together and negotiate among the three zones.
Zoning is a mere gentleman's agreement which is not enshrined in our constitution. The best candidate cannot emerge through zoning. I think what matters most is selecting capable ends, people who are willing and ready to govern, ones who will turn things around and give Nigeria a new facelift. But my question is, who will rescue Nigeria at this time? Now let me open the phone lines in case you want to engage Chief Yemi Farumbi. Let us get talking. You want to ask questions. For instance, he has educated us today about how the zoning arrangement came. How many people would recall that Abacha actually put up a committee, Constitution Committee? Hello, good morning. Hello. Kola from Okebadan, welcome.
Everybody know my stand on Sony. I don't believe in Sony. And it is very wrong for that African man to say it is the evil storm. Who is he fighting for? These are the betrayal people. The people who betray their own people. You claim you are supporting, you are for Yoruba, then you are fighting for the people. If I thought, I mean, the man talks about fairness. If you want to talk about fairness in this country, the people who should be president of this country next time should be Yoruba Muslims. With the history of Nigeria, if you read it, you have never seen a Yoruba Muslim becoming the president of Nigeria. Even in the 50s, you have seen the Christian in the north, even the minority Christian in the north, be the president of Nigeria. Minority Christian in the south, be the president of Nigeria. Muslim did not be the president of Nigeria, but you cannot be a Muslim in the south and become the president of Nigeria. So this is actually talking about fairness. It is his own people who having this, I should be supporting.
All right. Thank you so much, Kalawali Kazim. Hello, good morning.
Thank you very much. I am Primate Shuki.
Primate Chitu, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Interestingly, I am calling from Ijebu-Igbo in Ogun State.
You're welcome, sir.
Let me do the needful. I want to appreciate the management of IDR and you, Anu, for your sense of wonderful, powerful moderation. You have done very well. Let me also please appreciate our Papa who is on the hot seat. He has taken us back to fantastic history and has liberated us from hidden facts. But I want to, with all due respect, tell him that that is not what we need for now, sir. I want him to take us to what we need for now to get Nigeria working again. And we have come together as a people and we have discovered that what we need now is to renegotiate. How do we get Nigeria back working, sir? What is needed? What are the parameters? What do we do now, sir, to get Nigeria back on track? From your own vivid view and understanding and experience, sir, what is the way forward? Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Anthony.
Sir, with due respect, sir, I greet you. Just like the last caller said, you only gave us the history of how we find ourselves in this mess. How do we get out of it? You've talked about the problem or the looming problem now. Perhaps if this zoning comes to the south, there's still a looming problem that, okay, southeast is dragging it, southwest is dragging it, and we don't want this to happen in the south. We believe that average Southerner, we are reasonable and intelligent people. Just like you said, that let them sit down. Sit down to do what? Please help us out. What we are saying is that is this presidential system of democracy good for us, or we need a change? That is what I want you to help us out this morning, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Anthony Anyakudo. You can also be part of the program 0916 104 7698. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. And good morning, Baba Farombi. I am Gideon Kobam. I'm coming from Colaba.
Okay.
Now, one thing is, this simply was not more, this situational thing. And not as a region, but a tribe in North. Because if you, out of the three regions in the North now, North Central, Northeast, and Northwest, if you zone it to Northwest, it's one tribe that will be the president there. If you zone it to Northeast, it's in that tribe again. And North Central, it should be a Yoruba, that tribe again. You know, you have the affiliation with that tribe. But it doesn't work that way in the south. So it favors North more, and not even North, but that tribe. So thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for your time on the program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Noluabo.
Thank you so much, comrade, for your time. Oh, comrade, kindly call back. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hello, Mr. Anum Achola is on the line.
Oh, Mr. Akinola, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think I want to comment about before you there. Sincerely speaking, the two last speakers, Baba from Ijebu and somebody who spoke after him. You see, let's forget about the issue of zoning now. Baba, you have talked. You didn't talk like a politician. You talk like an historian and a sincere Nigerian. You have the history. You have the knowledge. You said two things that I want to agree with you. That you supported what Afeba Balola said because of what? Because the Constitutional Assembly have failed us. That is, the Constitution should be amended to take care of the reality that we find ourselves now. So, like Baba Ijebu said, what is the way forward? Forget about your political affiliation, sir. Sincerely, you said the South people should sit down and negotiate where we should go. But what is good for the Ganda is good for the goose. And whoever wants justice, sir, should come with clean hands. sincerely, if we want to say it rationally, the Southeast have a real, beautiful or higher claim than any other in the South now. But this is not the issue. We are tired. There is need for negotiation of how this country will move forward. Baba, please give us the way forward. You have the knowledge. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinola. So, sir, I'm sorry I won't pick calls so that you can address some of these issues.
You see from the anxiety in the various contributions that really what we need today is not an election on the basis of what we have. Because doing the same thing the same way over and over will give the same result. And they say that is lunacy. We are not lunatics in this country. So we ought to change the parameters. What has made it impossible for us to give us ourselves good governance is because we have over-centralized power. And because successive governments have been unable to take a serious action on this is the reason why, in my view, what Baba Afe is saying is the right thing to do. Is for us to first sit down. Is the presidential system the best for us? Should we go parliamentary? Is full-time legislator the thing we should have? Is it two tiers that we should have in the federal with all the money we are spending on them? These are basic issues we should look at. Who should do what? At what level? Who should be in charge of market? Who should be in charge of housing? Who should be in charge of agriculture? Who should have the powers and responsibility and the resources for it? So if we were able to tackle this, then you are going to find that this life and death, I call it, struggle for the center won't be there. The struggle will be at the federating units. If, for example, my state can generate its power, my state can do, in association with a few others, some light railways. If my state can create the environment that will generate more employment, if I won't have to be going to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources so that I can have more water in Ibadan, if I don't have to be going to the Federal Ministry of Agri to be able to have funds for farmers, those funds ought to be domiciled in the federating unit. So if we were able to do that, and that is the most critical thing.
Not an election.
Really, you can do an election. There's nobody, you've listened to all of them, who is promising that is going to give us a new constitution. Nobody is telling us we are going to rearrange Nigeria in a way that will be convenient for us. We've never had, for example, you have never had the Southwest saying they want to pull out of the country until the last 4 or 5 years. Why? Why are they now saying so? Security challenges. Absolute insecurity. And nobody is looking at it. We've been talking about community policing in this country for more than 10 years. Now the National Assembly cannot give us local police. We had local police in this country before. We had NA police. So, if what we have is not working well, yes, I know we have leadership problem. That's human leadership. But we have systemic problem. We have structural problems. And we have to look at that. And in my view, it doesn't take, it's not a nuclear science to rearrange what we're talking about. My friend, the Fulani, will say, if you give him a drug to use, you say, have you used it before? There's one drug we have used in this country before. We all talk eloquently about the successes of Awolowo, of Azikwe, of Sardauna, of Okpara. We talk about the beauty of that time. Why can't we go back to that time? Make amendments that will make it relevant to contemporary society.
That is regional government.
not necessarily regional government. You see, the federative units were called regions, but they had powers. The federative units in America are called states. They had the same power like our regions had. When Gowon created the 12 states, he said that each of the 12 states shall have the powers of the region. But by the time we got to 1979, they have dwindled the powers of the region from the state. They annexed the power, they annexed the resources, and put it at the center. It's the cause of our problem. When you are trying to force people that they must by force be together, it's a forced marriage. It's going to crack. And that's why we're having what we're having.
Okay, so I want to ask you, sir. You raised two issues. According to you, if we sit down and we get talking, one of the questions we should bring to the table is whether we want to sustain this presidentialism or we want to embrace parliamentary system of government. I am going to ask you, you've experienced the practicability of both. Which do you think suits this country?
I will give you examples. You see, there's nothing wrong with presidential system, but there's something wrong with it. In a parliamentary system, nobody will be campaigning around Nigeria. Each parliamentarian will campaign in his own area and win. When all of them come to the center, the party with the majority will select one of his own as the president. That can still be done. It's still a presidential system. The American presidential system is different from the French presidential system. So we should make this easy for us. It's the reason now they're asking for 100 million for somebody to be there. Nobody will ask Baliwa for 100 million. We are representing Bauchi, and because the MPC-NCNC alliance had the majority in the House, they agreed that he should be Prime Minister, and that was it. And in any case, they were not sitting full time. You get paid if you came to the House. Now these people are expected, they're doing the job full time with a retinue of special assistants, senior special assistants at cost to our economy, which we cannot afford. We don't have an economy based to sustain an American system.
So we've been pretending all along?
Absolutely pretending that we are rich. The budget of Nigeria, all the 36 states plus federal government added together, it's not up to the budget of Coca-Cola in US. It's not up there to the budget of New York State. So why are we pretending? So the money that we will have been spending on creating economic opportunities for people, we are spending it on a retinue of officers. What is the business of legislature with constituency projects? Legislature is to make laws. Executive is to implement it. Judiciary is to interpret it. But we have a system in Nigeria where senators, House of Reps people, we also be having constituency projects. Are they executors? And they convert the money into their own pocket. So we have mangled, we have even messed up the presidential system.
It's a messed up one. Can we you talked of the French presidential system being different from the American presidential system. Ours is said to be fashioned towards that of the United States. Can we have our homegrown? Is it possible?
That is precisely what we ought to do. Look at our own resources. Look at our own people. Have we reached a stage where if you put anybody from wherever and put him in the center, and all of us will have trust with him, the way they have trust in Biden, or the way they had Trump in Clinton or Bush when they were there, we haven't reached that. we still have primordial sentiments, because never mind the fact that they say we were created in 1914. We are not governed as one. They were governed as Northern Protectorate, we were governed as Southern Protectorate, later on as Eastern and Western Protectorate. And we started federalism in about 1954. We have no experience in what we are imposing on ourselves. So why don't we do things that will be okay by us?
So presidentialism has been a burden after all.
It's been a burden. So we can have a president that legislator will sit and say, we have majority, here is our president. So nobody will be spending all the money that they are spending. But then, I would be more interested in being able to go and challenge my governor, or if whatever is the federative unit, why are you not giving me light? Why are you not giving me job? Why are our schools not okay? Rather than be traveling to Abuja. And somebody in Abuja is talking about Orai Gumina, which he will never visit, even if he was president for 8 years. Even if he's president for 20 years, we will never get there. But I know where I will not see my governor. So put the powers where we can challenge them, where we can exert democratic right of the electorate over them. So we can fashion what is peculiar to us. The Igbos are worried about their roads. For long, they complain about absence of federal
presence.
Should that be the issue? If the money for such things have been domiciled in the federative unit, I wouldn't be bothered. Because the federal government should be bothered about this thing that unites us.
I think the people are back. Let's get to hear from them, sir. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
Mr. Manide.
Sir.
I think I want to appreciate you greatly this morning. You see, Baba Jebu said, he commended you greatly. I want to talk to Baba, who is with you. Baba, you remember that literature book that said the beautiful ones are not yet born? Are you telling us that's the situation in this country? And I want to remind you again, sir, with your age and people of your type, we are dying. I am over 62. We are dying gradually. And do you think that you said one thing? You said one thing, that people who don't allow peaceful revolution, that one will come and it will cleanse everybody, like what happened in Ghana, the rolling revolution. Baba, what is the way forward now? You have made beautiful suggestions. Is this the way we will continue until that radical revolution comes? It's an issue to you. Move on, Baba.
All right. You want to answer that?
I know that sensible people know that if you don't make the changes that we've had this morning, it's not only for me. You see the vibration of anger, the vibration of anxiety in what all the people are saying. And that's what I get to hear everywhere I go. And it just will appear that those who are governing us are deaf and dumb. And if we don't listen to these people, and you don't make life better, because this country has enough for all our needs. This country does not have enough for all our greed. So if we are just catering for our needs, then we'll make a simple structure. And I always hate to say it. People should not push the goat to the wall. When you push the goat to the wall, it has no teeth.
Okay, so
it will turn and bite.
In an event that we don't have this conversation anytime soon, you have any prediction?
You know, some of the things USSR wanted a conversation like this. They didn't have it. But somehow Gorbachev came. Gorbachev came through the electoral system and he started glasnost and restructuring. That's what Perestroika is about. And he restructured USSR. Putin is trying to tamper with it now. But they had individual growth. Ukraine was growing, Russia was growing, all of them. And they had peace with themselves. It is just possible that we may have somebody who become president. An emperor will not mind if his empire is reduced. Not that I've seen one on the sign. Not that I've seen anyone who offered to do so, but it is possible. But if it is not possible, then they will create a situation in which the masses will force them.
Okay, so since a candidate has not emerged, should a candidate make some of this suggestion of yours his focal point?
Actually, I was hoping so. I was hoping that, particularly the brilliant and younger ones, that one of them will be articulate enough to listen to the loud grumblings of the people. The people are grumbling. If you listen to the grumbling and you think of answers to it, and then you make it your own focus, then you will be different from every other person. And perhaps that may be what will make you win.
Okay, some persons have tried to call in, but of course, I couldn't pick their calls. You may repeat them as we wrap up the program this morning, if one or two. I have never seen any perfect system. I expect Southeast, that has invested heavily on PDP, to ask the ticket from the PDP. Power is never served a la carte. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you.
This is Mr. Wale from Ibadan.
Mr. Wale from Ibadan. Welcome, sir.
Yes. I do listen to Baba, who is sitting down with you over there. I do respect him a lot because of his wealth of experience. Now, like I discovered that some so-called progressives, we came together in Lagos City. Can you imagine that if Ms. Awolo, Sadana, and Zik could be listening to them, do you think they would be happy to do? And they call themselves progressive. Actually, sounds right. Economy is nowhere to be found. Banditry is over the places, and they are over 2023, and they are progressive. Who can call them progressive? Did you normally talk to them?
Okay.
I do respect Baba, especially Baba, DC, Baba, former governor of the
Okay. Hello, good morning.
Yes, I want to ask Baba.
Okay, quickly, Mr. Anthony, quickly.
Baba, with your inner man, I want you to give us how you project Nigeria in 10 years' time from now. I want to just give us insight as an elderly statesman.
Okay.
In the next 10 years, if something like this is done, like the state of Nigeria could be like this.
Okay. All right. We really need to go. Sir.
Inner mind. Now I want to tell you, my inner man tells me there's going to be a sharp break with the past. And when there is a sharp break with the past, Nigeria is going to get better. We cannot continue what we are doing.
We can't continue.
No, it's going to deteriorate. In his famous Jaji speech, Obasanjo said when he was military head of state that unless this country has a sharp break with the past, our past is not good. Everything we've done has given us what we've said. It's given us no food. It's made us the poverty capital of this country. Poor infrastructure. Universities are shut down. Education is not the right thing. We are not getting ourselves fed. People cannot even, they take a salary that cannot take them home and all of that. So what we have is an odious experience. So we must have a sharp break with that odious experience to create a new Nigeria. And I think that whether we like it or not, something will make it happen.
I must say a big thank you to you. We can go on and on. Thank you so much, sir.
I must say that I join all the people who commend you, and I've told you privately, is the reason I don't say no to your call. You are a fantastic moderator.
Thank you so much,
thoroughly
sir.
Professional one, and I can say that with 53 years experience that I give you kudos.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. This is where we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you so much, everyone who's been part of the program. I am Manulu Akpo. Sincere appreciation goes to my producer, Prince Femi Makpadero, and of course to the Chief Executive Officer of Impact Business Radio and Impact Africa Television, Dikenola Bioladejo. Thank you so much for the opportunity. See you next time by the special grace of God.